Bonjour. Today we're going to talk about l'imparfait, the imparfait tense. It is another past tense. You have already learned the passé composé, which was one past tense. This is another past tense, and we'll learn the difference between them later as far as when to use each one. But today you're simply going to learn how to take a verb and put it into the imparfait tense. Just the how, not necessarily the why quite yet. Okay, so to form the imparfait, you'll add endings to a stem, kind of like when you learned present tense, and there was a way to do this for ER, IR, and RE verbs. But the difference is, for the imparfait, the stem that you'll use comes from the present tense new form instead of from the infinitive. So I'll walk you through some examples. We have parler, which is an ER verb. And so what you'll do is you'll think of that verb in the new form. And you'll take the ONS off, and it gives you the stem. And then that stem is what you'll add the various endings to, the je ending, the tu ending, il, etc., to use that verb in the past tense, in the imparfait, I should say. Okay, we have vendre, which is an RE verb. Again, we're going to take off the ONS, and here's your stem. We have choisir, an IR verb. Take off the ONS. Here's your stem. These three are irregular, so just to show you that this same pattern applies for regular and all three of the regular groups of verbs in the same way. So that actually makes it pretty simple. Take off the ONS. Here's your stem. Take off the ONS, here's your stem. Take off the ONS, here's your stem. So there's a lot less to memorize for this verb tense. You have this one pattern that applies to everything, and then just a set of endings. And I know you're going to ask me, Ms. Osborne, why can't I just get the stem from the infinitive? It seems so much easier. But you know what? It's not the same thing. It is not the same thing. And to prove it to you, okay, for your ER verbs, if you took the ER off of parler or the ONS off of nous parlons, you would get the same thing. True. For RE verbs, it works that way as well. But that's as far as you could get with that plan. You'll see that choisir, which means to choose, if you take off the IR, it doesn't give you this stem. Remember, the IR verb endings are kind of long. They have this ISS-ONS. But you only take off the ONS and use all of this for the stem for the imparfait. Then, take a verb like prendre, which is irregular. But if you tried to just take off the RE, you would have the wrong stem. That's not how we do imparfait. Imparfait is going to be like this with no D. So by looking at the new form, you'll get the correct stem. Dire, I mean, that's not a word. No. Okay, so take off the ONS. That's how you get your stem. The verb écrire is irregular, but it's very easy to get the stem. So by using the new stem, it makes it easy to form the imparfait for any verb, no matter how irregular it is in the present tense. Well, être, nous sommes, that one doesn't work. We'll come back to that. But for the rest, the pattern really works. So just look at all these irregular verb stems. Okay, we have pouvoir, which is kind of crazy in the present tense, but in the imparfait, it cooperates with us. We've got POUV, follows that same pattern. Vouloir, mettre, croire, voir, avoir. I mean, even avoir and faire are going to cooperate. This is great. For the verb lire, dormir, venir, which is crazy in the present tense, but in the imparfait, they're going to cooperate. You might remember acheter, and then the acheter was an example of a stem changer where it has an accent mark that appears and then disappears in the present tense, but in the imparfait, it's just, there's no accent mark in the stem, so that's really nice. And for our YER verbs, we have this thing where sometimes the Y is an I, but no, for the imparfait, it's always a Y. So very simple. Very nice. Okay. And then for être, you do have one thing you have to memorize for the imparfait. It is the stem for être, which is this. So, all right, now we have the endings. So these are the endings you would tack onto those stems in order to actually make a verb phrase, like I was swimming or you were sleeping, etc. Okay, so for je, the ending is AIS. For tu, AIS. Il or elle, AIT. Nous is IONS. Vous is IEZ. And il or elle plural is AIENT. So we're going to walk through putting the stem and ending together to actually make a verb phrase. So here we'll say, I was talking. So for the verb parler, you're going to think, nous parlons. You'll remove the ONS to get the stem. You'll add the ending for the subject you were hoping to use, and then you have je parlais. Vendre, our RE verb example. You'll think of nous vendons. Get your stem. If you were looking to use the subject tu, then the ending you need is AIS. So now you have tu vendais. You were selling. Okay, finir is an IR verb. So we have nous finissons. This is one of those goofy IR verbs, but if you take off your ONS, it works just the same. You have this stem. For the subject elle, the ending is AIT. So this is elle finissait. She was finishing. For the verb faire, you'll think nous faisons. It gives you the stem. If you want to use it with nous in the imparfait, then the ending you'll need is IONS. And we have nous faisions. For the verb venir, subject vous, we have nous venons. Take off the ONS to get the stem. Add the appropriate ending for the subject vous, which is IEZ. And so we say vous veniez. Okay, this next example, this is another ER verb, but I just included it because I think it's kind of funny. Okay, jouer means to play. So again, nous jouons. Take off the ONS, that gives you this stem. The ending for il or elle plural is AIENT. So when you put the two together, you have elle jouait, it's 2 syllables, but it's all 5 vowels right in a row with no consonants to break them up. So I just think that is hilarious. But I was trying to show you where the syllables divide, but at any rate, we have elle jouait. They were playing. Okay, now we come to être, the only one that is always giving us a hard time. Être likes to be difficult. You think of nous sommes, but that's no help at all. So you have to think of the stem, which you memorized, of course. This is the stem, and if the subject is je, then the ending we add is AIS. So we have j'étais. Now, être is one that is used a lot in the imparfait, so it will be really important to memorize that stem. Okay, so most of the irregular verbs cooperate really well for us in the imparfait, but you might remember CER and GER verbs from our review of present tense this year. If you remember the reason for the spelling change in the present tense, maybe that will help you understand and remember the pattern for that spelling change in the imparfait. But basically, when you have a C in front of an E or an I, it's going to make the S sound. When a C is in front of an O or an A, it's going to make the K sound. So that would be like ku or ka. Take that off. Okay, so if you remember that the point of this idea is to make the S sound where the C would otherwise make the K sound, then you'll be okay, because here we have it. Je commençais, because of the A here. Tu commençais, elle commençait. Here there's no cedilla because it's in front of an I. And here it's back because it's in front of an A again. Everywhere you needed a cedilla over here, you'll need an E over here, because the E after the G preserves the soft G sound. So it's je nageais, tu nageais, elle nageait, nous nagions. We do not need an E here because it's in front of an I. Vous nagiez and elle nageait. We need the E here because it's in front of an A. Okay? So CER and GER kind of break from the pattern just a little bit, but not too bad. And overall, I think you'll see that the imparfait tense is a really easy one to form. So there you have it, l'imparfait, a past tense.